Palawa Joko, Truth and Lies. Trying to discern reality from propaganda is no easy task when considering Palawa Joko. For an insight into the warped mind of this undead despot, a brief tour of the Vitende Academy in Vabi provides a masterclass on command and control subjugation. This place of purported learning, of reason, debate, and knowledge is nothing less than the abdication of these tenets, humanity's history rewritten, all to fulfill the narcissistic fantasies of one being. Here to challenge or criticize the great leader is to invite death upon yourself and those you love. The Tende is not a school. It is a re-education camp where the minds of Vabian youth are indoctrinated and enslaved. From the cradle to the grave, Joko's festering grip infects every aspect of Vabian society. He has, for centuries, systematically eroded the Alonans' will to stand against him, taking their lands, destroying their culture, rewriting their history, and painting their heroes of legend as villains. Generations of ruthless suppression, lies, and cultural genocide have left Vabian society detached from reality and strangers to their own heritage. Joko's social engineering does not end there. His chosen nobles live lives of privilege and luxury, whilst the commoners starve in the fields, bent-backed and broken under the weight of their god-king's avarice. Make no mistake, though. Rich, poor, lord, lackey, all serve Joko in life and death. Not even the grave offers relief for the subjugated denizens of this once free land. In truth, the depths of Joko's depravity know no bounds. So let us unpick the tapestry of lies and half-truths this sociopathic abomination has woven, starting with the claim that he is the last primeval king. Sadly for Joko, reality does not seem to align itself with his assertion, nor do the remaining spirits of the primeval kings in their tomb who denounce his claims of kinship. The lineage of that line of kings ended in 452 AE with the Scarab Plague. The first verifiable accounts of Joko did not even emerge until 757 AE, over 300 years later, in the sulphurous wastes of the desolation. Scrolls indicate this is when he erected his palace, his temple to xenophobic genocide. This macabre masterpiece, built with the bones of countless centaur, is the best and most honest manifestation of Joko's true nature I have ever beheld. His unimaginable malice towards the Centauri race may give us an indication of his true provenance. But I will not lie. As it stands, not the lawmasters of Alona, nor the erudite scholars of the Priory, or the spy masters of the Order of Whispers know his origins. The most recently discovered revelation about his early history comes from a most extraordinary source, the Lunatic's Court. It is only a few lines taken from the mad memoir Revelries, but it gives a tantalizing glimpse of his life before undeath. The text speaks of an old enmity which predates his undead status. It talks of a battle and losses for Joko, and an insult or slight which triggered the conflict. Palawa Joko is described as Mad King Thorns' arch-rival, and it is claimed that Joko swore to flood valleys and enslave nations to get his vengeance on Tyria. The timelines of these two despots are hard to marry, King Thorn was murdered by his own people 68 years after our first record of Joko. Perhaps the younger King Thorn was a threat to the then elder monarch Joko. We don't know. We do know that King Thorn kidnapped and murdered an Astani princess. Does this offer a connection to Joko? In truth, it is impossible to know. Who can say that the Scourge of Vabi is even an Alonian? With his hatred of the Centaur race and his enmity towards a Crichton king, perhaps Joko's story began far from the land of the Golden Sun. When I think of Joko, I am reminded of Vizier Kilbron, the man who betrayed all at the behest of Abaddon, the fallen god of secrets. Kilbron too did great, but terrible things. The sinking of the Aurian Peninsula changed the course of human history, and also claimed Kilbron's life. But like Joko, the yoke of death could not hold him, and at the hands of his master, he was raised as an undead lich. So we know that a god can raise the undead. We know that dragons can too. So the question of how Joko became a lich could hold the answer to not only his origins, but also his defeat. Sadly, all we can do is speculate at this point. So let's set that aside and talk about what we know about his life after 757 AE. A king, even an undead one, who is bent on conquest needs an army. And with his undead powers and absence of any moral compass, Joko desecrated the ancient tombs of Alona and raised his thrall army. In 860 AE, he marched into Vabi, intent on crushing the merchant princes and using their great wealth to fund his conquest of all Alona. Pushing out into Corner, Joko's ambitions would be thwarted at the Battle of Jahai by the legendary Turiosa. It was from Ossa's army the Order of Whispers was formed, the sacred duty to watch over the entombed Joko, ensuring he never threatened the nation of Alona again. Over 200 years later, in the year 1075, the wards which held Joko were weakened as Varash Ossa, a disciple of Abaddon, tried to free the fallen god from his realm of torment. The undead lich finally won his freedom, but it was short-lived. Joko was recaptured days later by a centaur and delivered to the Sun Spears. Centuries of imprisonment had weakened Palawa Joko physically, but his mind was as devious as ever, and fate that day seemed to side with the lich. The Sun Spears needed information only he possessed in order to frustrate the rise of Abaddon. So Spear Marshal Cormia and her Sun Spears made a terrible pact with him for the knowledge of how to traverse the sulphurous wastes. The Sun Spears would not only grant Joko his freedom, but they would aid him in regaining his bone palace. The undead king was back on his throne and waited to see the outcome of the battle. The heroes of Alona triumphed over Abaddon, and Cormia ascended to godhood. Filled with envy at Cormia's ascension, Joko bent his will to the destruction of all Sun Spears. He would break their order and corrupt their heroes into his service as Morden Crescent. His conquest of Alona would take time, but with every fallen defender his ranks grew, and without the Sun Spears to rally and protect the people, his victory was assured. It took Joko from 1093 to 1175 to claim the victory Turiosa had ripped from him. For the next 150 years, the people of Vabi and beyond have been fed a diet of lies and half-truths. They are taught that Palawa Joko defeated Turayosa at the Battle of Jahai, that he defeated Abaddon and ascended to godhood, that the fall of Zaitan and Mordramoth were his doing. These are the most egregious of 1,000 claims he has made to feed his ego and keep the people of Alona off balance and misinformed. But despite all his efforts, the spirit of the Sunspear was never extinguished. The fire in the hearts of the people of Alona never died. With the recent disruption of his reign caused by Balthazar's insurrection and Kraukatoric's awakening, Joko's stranglehold on Alona has weakened. The flame of rebellion has been reborn, and with it, the hope of a new dawn. Thank you so much for listening. I hoped you enjoyed my brief history of Palawa Joko. There will be more lore installments coming to the channel soon. If there's anything in particular you'd like me to write about, please let me know in the comments below. I want to give a shout out to Ada and Ken Schneider and all my fantastic patrons. They allow me to dedicate the time, energy and effort I do to my content creation. I can never thank them all enough. If you are thinking of joining the Guild Wars 2 community, there are referral links below to the free-to-play game, the Heart of Thorns expansion, and the Path of Fire expansion too. Thanks to the generosity of ArenaNet and their partner program, using these referral links directly supports my channel. I hope you will join me again, but until then, as always, thanks for watching.